Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Low voices, broken now and again by singing, reached a conquo from his wives' huts as each woman and her children told folk stories. Akwifi and her daughter Enzima sat on a mat on the floor. It was Akwifi's turn to tell a story. Once upon a time, she began, all the birds were invited to a feast in the sky. They were very happy and began to prepare themselves for the great day. They painted their bodies with red camwood and drew beautiful patterns on them with ulu. Tortoise saw all these preparations and soon discovered what it all meant. Nothing had happened in the world of animals ever escaped his notice. He was full of cunning. As soon as he heard of the great feast in the sky, his throat began to itch at the very thought. There was a famine in those days, and Tortoise had not eaten a good meal for 2 moons. His body rattled like a piece of dry stick in his empty shell. So he began to plan how he would go to the sky. But he had no wings, said Enzima. Be patient, replied her mother. That is the story. Tortoise had no wings, but he went to the birds and asked to be allowed to go with them. We know you too well, said the birds when they had heard him. You are full of cunning, and you are ungrateful. If we allow you to come with us, you will soon begin your mischief. You do not know me, said Tortoise. I am a changed man. I have learned that a man who makes trouble for others is also making it for himself. Tortoise had a sweet tongue, and within a short time all the birds agreed that he was a changed man, and they each gave him a feather, and which he made 2 wings. At the last, the great day came, and Tortoise was the first to arrive at the meeting place. When all the birds had gathered together, they set off in a body. Tortoise was very happy and valuable as he flew among the birds. He was soon chosen as the man to speak for the party because he was such a great orator. There is one important thing which we must not forget, he said, as they flew on their way. When people are invited to a great feast like this, they take new names for the occasion. Our hosts in the sky will expect us to honor this age-old custom. None of the birds had ever heard of this custom, but they knew that Tortoise, in spite of his failings in other directions, was a widely traveled man who knew the customs of different peoples. And so they each took a new name. And when they had all taken, Tortoise also took one. He was to be called All of You. At last, the party arrived in the sky, and their hosts were very happy to see them. Tortoise stood up in his many-colored plumage and thanked them for the invitation. His speech was so eloquent that all the birds were glad they had brought him and nodded their heads in approval of all he said. Their hosts took him as the king of the birds, especially as he looked somewhat different from the others. After cola nuts had been presented and eaten, the people of the sky set before their guests the most delectable dishes Tortoise had ever seen or dreamed of. The soup was brought out hot from the fire, and in the very pot in which it had been cooked, it was full of meat and fish. Tortoise began to sniff aloud. There were pounded yam and also yam pottage, cooked with palm oil and fresh fish. There were also pots of palm wine, and when everything had been set before the guests, one of the people of the sky came forward and tasted a little from each pot. He then invited the birds to eat, but Tortoise jumped to his feet and said, For whom have you prepared this feast? For all of you, replied the man. Tortoise turned to the birds and said, Remember that my name is All of You. The custom here is to serve the spokesman first and others later. They will serve you when I have eaten. If you want to know what happens next to Tortoise, please read Things Fall Apart. And this is all a part of 100 days, 100 books, 100 places, 100 readers at Richmond Public Library. RVA Reads. Please visit your library, check out a book, any book. Thank you. We're ready. We're live. Day 4 of 100 Days RVA
That's okay. Thank you.